What's up, everybody? Kenny from Team VStar here, and today I'm going to be going over a deck that I feel like is probably going to be one of the strongest moving forward into post-rotation. Now, post-rotation for the Pokemon TCG will occur during the European International Championship. Wow, I can't talk. But the first North American event where it will be legal will be Portland Regionals, which a lot of people are probably testing for if they're not testing for Fort Wayne or Charlotte right now. So at this point, people like myself who aren't going to go to those events are most likely going to be attempting to practice for Portland and any other event where Scarlet and Violet will be legal. And I'm just going to go over one that ended up doing very well, and I just, made a list out of it from what I ended up seeing and what I thought could be good. So this is going to be Single Strike Lugia. Now, the reason why a lot of people probably thought, hey, Lugia is not going to be very good. It loses things like Aurora Energy, Hiding Dark Energy, Yveltal Amazing, or Evolution Incense, Quick Ball. Like, you lose a lot of pieces. Every single colored special energy, except for Impact Energy, Rapid Strike Energy, and Single Strike Energy. And one of the beautiful parts about the Single Strike Energy engine is you have two relevant weaknesses that just come in and take a big chunk of the meta by storm. So, Lugia VStar, for those who don't know by now, does 220 damage for 4 colorless energy and discards a stadium card in play. However, the VStar ability is what we're going to be focusing on, Summoning Star, where you put 2 colorless Pokemon from your discard pile into play, which gets out the Archeops, which has the ability Primal Turbo. It searches your deck for 2 special energies and attaches it to one of your Pokemon. Lugia is probably one of the most meta-defining, if not just outright destructive deck that we've seen in the Pokemon TCG in recent years, just because it could be played as a toolbox archetype that just takes advantage of these attackers that may have had too big of an attack cost or may have required a couple special energies such as Stoutland in order to do more damage to take multiple prize cards. And Archeops and Lugia kind of fixed that when they were paired together and released in the same set. So, I bet you can kind of see where this is going. The idea of the deck is to get 2 Archeops in the discard pile, preferably all 4, so you don't have to draw into them at all post turn 2-ish, to then set up your Single Strike Pokemon or even the Lugia itself. The Single Strike Pokemon we have opted to choose is Tyranitar V. Now, a lot of people are probably questioning, well, why not play Umbreon? Umbreon also has a gusting effect. Umbreon is very good in its own right, don't get me wrong, but Tyranitar V also has something else that Umbreon does not. In Umbreon, the V only attacks for 80 damage since you are not placing damage counters on it. Tyranitar, though, does hit for 60 damage, but it also discards the top 2 cards of your opponent's deck, which against Lost Box is pretty insane. You hit a Comfy for weakness, knock it out, go, okay, I'm going to mill the top 2, now what are you going to do? Oh, you don't have anything again? Okay, well, the 3 Single Strike energies I have on this Tyranitar, I'm going to one-shot a Cramorant and mill top 2 again. So it's pretty cool, along with Single Strike Crush being the second attack. Of course, that's not really an attack you want to use, but in case you have to, it is a destructive attack for 240 damage, and with Single Strike energy boosting up the damage you can hit, up most of 320 damage. So that is big boy numbers right there. So Tyranitar V finally seeing some spotlight where it may not have seen it before in this kind of deck. And Sojourner, which Sojourner, for a fighting and a colorless, does 20 plus 30, or 30 plus 30, my apologies, if there is a Stadium card in play, but Giga Hammer does 120 for 2 fighting and colorless. And you're probably thinking to yourself, why would I play this over something like Urshifu? Well, Sojourner is a 1-prize Single Strike Pokemon that can knock out Miraidon. So being a 1-prizer is very important, because in that matchup, you're really going to want a Dunsparce, 2 Archeops, a Lugia to get out your Archeops, preferably not drop another one to attack with, and 2 Sojourners in play, which will allow you to just take a big swing into the early game against 2 prizers, and even sometimes just outright win from there if they don't have the right gusting cards at the right time. So, 2 relevant weaknesses, Dark being in like Mew and Gardevoir, and Sojourner being in stuff like Miraidon. So, very strong Pokemon who had seen play in Single Strike, but unfortunately because of the wrath of Stoutland, or not Stoutland, but Houndoom being able to deal damage to yourself. Being a stage 1, not being able to get it out consistently, really hurt the archetype. But due to Lugia VStar pretty much losing all of its pieces, this is one of the homebrew decks that will take the meta by storm post-rotation with this kind of strategy. Now, looking farther at the list, I built it as consistent as I could possibly get it. 4-4 Lugia, so you could hit it, because we are losing energy of Evolution Incense. Wow. And Quick Ball, so you want to hit the Lugias as fast as you possibly can. Same with Arcap, so you play 4, 2 minion, pretty standard, especially so you can chase the Professor Burnett turn 1, turn 2, so you can search your deck for up to 2 cards and discard them, being the Archeop, so any 2 cards you really don't want to see later on. The Drapion is in here just in case if Mew gets a little bit sketchy or you prize a little bit weird. The Drapion is just pretty much, hey, I have it, I'm going to take an auto knockout against your Mew, and I have this Tyranitar set up in the back, what are you going to do? Does of course, because Miraidon's going to start seeing a lot of play post-rotation, so this will stop the weakness from the Miraidon. We play a copy of Pumpkin Beauty around Path and Radiant Serena, which has never seen really the light of day in competitive play, aside from maybe Sanders' little control deck that he ended up playing with Gengar and YouTube Union and Purdue. So that's pretty cool. Radiant Serena is once during your turn, you heal 20 damage from each of your Pokemon, which may not seem all that good, but against Lost Box, if you go Regenerative Energy, evolve into Lugia VStar, and then use Serena, you not only mess up Cramorant math, but you also mess up Sableye math. If they lost mine and try to spread it anywhere than more than one Pokemon, and they try to do some funky knockouts, Serena could just help out with that and be like, okay, well, I know what you're trying to do. I'm gonna heal this damage here, and now your knockout doesn't happen next turn. You're gonna have to find a different attacker that isn't Sableye. So Serena is very decent, to say the least. I don't know if it is the best card in here, but in a Lost Box, having that of this card is definitely a very interesting inclusion. We then also have access to 3 Boss, 3 Research. Pardon me while I yawn. Oh, went away. Never mind. 2 Judge, because Judge is going to be the next best shuffle draw supporter card. It's a very good hand destruction with Marnie rotating. It just makes sense. 2 Burnett so you can consistently hit it, and then 1 copy of Serena. We also have 4 Capturing Aroma, 4 Ultra Ball, 2 Nest Ball, and 2 Urn of Vitality. 2 of Urn of Vitality is a little weird on the numbers. I've seen people play 4 and 3, but I feel like 2 is completely fine. You're not playing Tower of Darkness, so you don't really want to clunk them. And you only really want to get the Single Strike energies back twice, because all of the attacks on the Single Strike Pokemon only cost 2 to begin with, so if you just put 2 back and put like a Gift Energy or a Lucky Energy on the other one, there it is, then it's perfectly fine. You don't need any more. And if you end up ditching the Urn of Vitality early on in the game, just play around it, or if you can't, then that's just how the game goes. The only stadium card I chose to play in here was Collapse Stadium, because I feel like Echo Horn may see a little bit more play, and getting rid of Luminion is very huge. Also, getting rid of those awkward starters. So Collapse Stadium is actually pretty good in here. I've seen people play Tower of Darkness. I played one of Tower of Darkness in here before I actually started to test it. It was okay. You never hit it as much as you would wish. Another consideration for the deck could be a copy of Lost Vacuum. The only issue with Vacuum is we don't have access to Irida or Skyla. Skyla rotating and Irida not being in the list, because I prefer Burnett over Irida, because Weezing is going to rotate, and Aerodactyl I don't believe we'll see a ton of play as shown in Japan, so it's going to be more of a Lost Box heavy meta, which is what this is more designed for. And speaking of Lost Box, Collapse Stadium also helps against that. If they dump a bunch of damage on something, you just go Collapse Stadium. Now it's all gone. Now you got to deal with something else. So 4 copies of Single Strike Energy. For those who aren't aware, it's an energy that can only be attached to Single Strike Energy Pokemon. Well, it can be attached through Archeops and attached to something, but the effect only stays through that. Or the effect and being permanently attached stays through there. But because there's an interesting situation with Spiral Energy where it can be attached from deck and then it bounces, but then it removes the effect from the Pokemon. So it's just really weird. But it provides a Dark or a Fighting Energy, one or the other, when it's attached to one of the Pokemon, and it makes your Pokemon do 20 more damage, which is really, really strong. We have 2 copies of Double Turbo Energy, 2 copies of Gift Energy, which was typically only seen in Regis, but because Colorless Energy and a lot of the attacks are very good, we're having that kind of universal attack cost. Gift Energy makes the most sense, so you're prone to Judge, so you have a contingency plan and an auto out to Judge and Roxanne. Same with Lucky Energy. If you have Lucky Energy and Gift, I don't believe the Lucky Energy triggers before the gift, but you still get to see cards no matter what, even if you don't have access to gift, and Lucky Energy is pretty cool. 2 copies of Regenerative Energy and 2 copies of V-Guard. I've started seeing people go to 3 for Regenerative, but like I said, it's more or less like, do you expect a heavy Lost Box meta in something that's just kind of like a Lost Box card? Against other things, maybe as well, but for the most part, that's really the only time you're going to use it. I've seen people mess around with Treasure Energy too, so that they play 4 copies of Treasure Energy and a Peonia over Burnett, so where they can just slam them in the prize cards, or like if they end up prizing something awkward that they want to pull out and they just conveniently have Treasure Energy, they can just put it in the prize cards, rip it out, and just start attaching from the prize cards. So it's pretty interesting. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Let me know if there's any other deck you would like us to cover on the channel. I know we've done some pretty popular ones like Oinkalone, Miraidon, and even Lost Box. So I don't know. Just let us know what you think in the comment section below. Till then, guys, VStar out.